ಇದು ನೋಡ್ಕೋ ಸರ್.
Start చేయండి.
Yeah, sure. Namaskar, Subhodayam, Suprabhatam. I think you are all fortunate. Your good karma brought you here. Let me start with that way, because today's lecture, Khadar Valli, Dr. Khadar Valli is nothing new to Hindu Temple of Woodlands, right? So many times he came here and enlightened us. He is a living yogi. They put me on spot to introduce, so I may not be perfect, but I'm going to do a quick introduction. He's a living yogi. The kind of knowledge you see rishis and yogis and gurus, that is the kind of knowledge you are going to get from him. He's a different, it may look different, sound different, but the kind of knowledge you are going to get is enormous. Absorb every bit of knowledge, analyze, think, and research. That's my request. I don't want to take too much time because his time is very precious. You will be astounded. He's a scientist, guru. What he says, every word is important for our future, present, our health, our gut health, our mental health, everything.
Kids health.
And kids' health, future generation, kids' health. How is everything is going to translate? You listen, take action, notes, and we'll form a committee. How we can act upon. Thank you again, all coming in. I know some more people are coming in, but we'll catch up with them. And you're making a visit.
Yes. No. It's my karma again that I am visiting Govinda and Padmavati and na bhuto na bhavishyati. This God is, among all the gods, Venkateshwara is supposed to be na bhuto na bhavishyati. See, these gods are created in our minds. And they are not limited to our comprehension. The most important problem the human mind faces is that we cannot transcend beyond our mind and comprehension, and we try to limit God into this dimension. There are multiple dimensions which are not going to be comprehended by many human existences. So, a God beyond our comprehension, we try to have in the name of logic, in the name of all kinds of isms, which is beyond that. And that's what symbolically Krishna is. Krishna is something that we cannot comprehend. It is so deep. And the literal translation of Krishna is darkness. But it is not darkness, it is beyond that. It is heavy, it is loose, it is the same time, it is everything. It is everything. And that is, Krishna means it is beyond comprehension. Something that you will never ever understand is a very small word. So, people should always, when they go to this huge concept, it is with all humility and humbleness that we will never ever comprehend God. So that should be the attitude. And of course there are many distortions. Don't distort yourself. We are only that much. So with this, I consider this as my prayer to this God, Almighty God. Of course, we can enter into different kinds of discussions about God, but this is as simple as that. So, don't complicate. It's simple. But our existence on this planet has been, we are not, in fact, not aware of it. We do not know. And the so-called religion, so-called science has been trying to just put its finger saying that this is so, that is so. So these internal inconsistencies arise when we do this. And that itself should make our existence very small on this planet. Because when you have internal inconsistencies by a system that you are trying to define something that you cannot comprehend, so it's not worth with this might that you have. You cannot measure the Almighty. So just keep quiet. Can we keep quiet? No, we are restless fellows. So much so that we don't even understand the body has been given to us. We don't even understand that little small creation of this Almighty God. That we have screwed that up. There are only 10 real organs in our body, and we cannot manage that. We are screwing up the kidney, we are screwing up the liver, we are screwing up the brain, we are screwing up the celiac region, and we cannot manage it. And in the name of science and development, we are only making our arrogance expose. Nothing more than that. Just watch this small video. Have I set up the background for you? Do you understand the enormity of the vast expanse? In fact, that's what I feel very good when I come to Houston, the Texas, the vast expanse. And when I feel humbled, when I go around Houston, big spaces.
First, we will have a testimony from Nalinis ji. Then our speaker will. First, we will have a testimony from Nalinis ji. Then our speaker will be speaking, and definitely the forum will be open for like 30 to 40 minutes for question answers. So, thank you.
My name is Nalini and I live in Vancouver, BC. My this whole millet journey started in the year 2020, around March, April. And it's been 5 years since we are on this diet. And I would like to give you a brief history of why we went on to this diet. 7 years prior to that, my husband fell sick. He was diagnosed with sepsis. And he was in intensive care for 3 weeks, and later he had a kidney failure too, and he was in the hospital for another 3 weeks. And when they restored the kidney functioning to 65%, they did discharge him. But the whole challenge started at that point of time, because he was saying that he was really not keeping well. But then the doctor says his parameters are okay. So it was very, very confusing, and we really didn't know what to do. And they gave him a whole lot of medication in order for his kidneys to function, because they restored at 65 before it restored to 65% functioning before they kind of discharged him. And they gave him a whole lot of medication, saying that he has to take all this medication in order for the kidneys to function well. So he was taking the medication. He was not feeling well because there was a whole lot of disturbance in many parameters in his body, like the blood urea, the creatinine, the EGFR, of course, that's the measuring of the kidney functioning, and then the electrolyte imbalances, the sugar imbalance. He was a diabetic, the BP was off. I mean, it was a whole lot of things that, there were so many parameters that were disturbed. And like, despite taking all the medication, despite none of the parameters really, they were better than when it started, when he was sick, but really, you could never say they're normal. But after 3-4 years, we saw the kidney functioning deteriorating. So one day I went to the nephrologist and I said, how come he's taking all the medication and how come his kidney function is deteriorating? He says, okay, well, that's what is going to happen, and afterwards he'll be on dialysis, and many people on dialysis do lead a normal life. I said, are you kidding me? You're being on dialysis and leading a normal life? That's far from reality. So then when I came out, I told him, you have to try some alternate diet. we've always been wanting to try alternate medicine and that, but my husband was not too keen. He was into only allopathy. So then we tried. We went to India. We tried it.
Happened what?
It helped. I think basically it was helping a little, but nothing really significant. But in 2019, we came across this article about millets and basically the significance of the millets and how, like, the kind of benefits it has on our body. So in 2019, in December, literally we went to India, then we bought all the 5 millets. I said, I think we should try it. Then when I came back from India, like, there was this COVID, there was these lockdowns, and my daughter just got back also from India. And then she said, you know what, I know Dr. Satya, who has formed a WhatsApp group. I'll introduce you to him. Maybe he'll guide you in this diet. And that was the best thing that happened. I got introduced and he sent me the whole literature of the millets and what Dr. Khader really, the whole literature and what exactly we need to do in order for anything to cure. I went through the whole literature, I read every aspect of it and I followed every aspect of it. In 1 year, there was a total turnaround. He was off he was taking insulin injections, guys, not even tablets. He's off insulin, he was off BP, he was off the cholesterol, he was off so many tablets that were just trying to keep the
Sorry to interrupt. Would you like to mention his age when he started this reverse journey?
He was 62.
Okay.
Okay? And he fell sick at 53. Yeah, 62, he started the diet. Till then, he was on allopathy and then everything reversed. And even he got the confidence, okay, this is working, even for him to get the he thought, okay, my wife is going to try something and I have no other way except deteriorate beyond dialysis and one day die. That's a miserable way to live. So, and in the meantime, in 2016, I developed a trophic condition. I suffered 3 years from urinary tract infection. And 2020, Dr. Satya brought Khadar Valli onto a call and he asked me to take fermented porridge. I took it for 6 months, only fermented porridge, and what a relief it gave me, the kashayams and the porridge. I really bow to this man, Dr. Khadar Valli, who spent 20 years of his life for human well-being to find the right kind of diet for this machine to work well. It's very, very important we eat the right kind of diet, which are the building blocks of your body. And to keep the body healthy is most important. And it can be healthy only if you give the right kind of fuel. And the right kind of fuel comes from Khadar Valli's diet. So, and I realized, oh my God, we're eating everything wrong. We're doing everything wrong, making the body sick. Then you're on medication, which further deteriorates your sickness. And really, there was no solution to it. So, having to find a solution and Dr. Satya to guide me in this whole process and my husband coming out and finally living a life. It took 3 years, but all his parameters, whether be it blood urea, be it creatine, be it EGFR, and everything has come back to absolute normal. And guys, really, I was in tears looking at his reports.
Okay. Actually, she should have been
First, we
in
will have a
tears.
testimony from Nalinis.
Also stop.
Then our speakers will be speaking, and
Is this on YouTube?
definitely the forum will be open for like 30 to
Stop.
40 minutes minutes for question answer. So.
Okay. Huh? She should have been in tears looking at her husband, not the reports. You see, this is a very complex case where 10 years they have really screwed up the system. And we have actually umpteen number of testimonials from a type 1 diabetes young boy taking insulin injections every day and getting out of it in a matter of 30 days. And we have the same type 1 diabetes patient who has taken injections for 16 years, and then in a matter of 3 months he got out of his insulin injections, and his HbA1c has been consistently below 6 for the last 3 years. So it's not just getting rid of the problem, but sustaining it throughout is very important. So there is one more case where a lady was declared with blood cancer.
My name is Nalini.
No, Sakama. This Google Amma and this computers, no control. Okay, and don't mistake. It is Khadar's problem of being humorous, which without my knowledge I become one. I don't know why. I keep this in our young age when we were in colleges. I am known as a very poor joke, PJ. Is at the moment they see Khadar, PJ is coming. All poor jokes. So don't fall into that trap. I try to eliminate and I try to be very serious. But I cannot.
We like it. I think probably over a period of time now you became rich. No more PJ.
You are being kind. You will see.
We really like the humor.
So the whole story is that we have various diseased conditions getting better or completely healed. And we have been running a clinic in Mysuru. Almost average per day we deal with minimum of 50 patients and sometimes maximum of 120, 125 patients. On average this has been going on for the last 20 years. So what I'm trying to communicate to you is that we have vast number of cases dealt with, and we have been diligent to keep this going on. And last 6-7 years my daughter has joined the clinic. She has become a real doctor. I'm a quack, okay. So the system has been based on real clinical evidences, and a few of the testimonials are floating in the social media, but we have umpteen numbers from village back setting, and then cities and the small towns, and you see here it is like Vancouver and then England. In fact, last month I toured England from Lancaster to London, around 10 places we had seminars, and I think near Birmingham or so, 4 patients who work in NHS came and said one cured his colon cancer, one cured his HIV, one cured his CKD, one cured his mental illnesses, that they were actually being sent to the mental departments. So the healing capacity of the food is absolutely not researched on this planet till today. And that itself shows that the systems that are working on this planet are not scientific. And that's where the sad story of human race. That's why I said the first beginning of my context setup that we hardly know things, but we are now riding a time zone where we think we know everything just because you have created some computers like this functioning dysfunctionally. So we all have to be humble. Do not take yourself away from nature. And that journey has begun in the last 50 years, and we have gone too far from away from nature. And nature is supreme. You are part of it. Don't think you can dictate nature. So nature, I mean, it's not just the trees, fauna, flora and all that. There is an inner nature with every being. So we do not know that itself properly. But we have here been killing almost 60% of fauna and flora around us. Already we have done that. Just because you want to eat burgers, you want to eat French fries. Just these two items have managed to disseminate 14% of forest area on this planet. Just these two. See, spiritually, we should not be causing any pain, or suffering to other living things. So then if you have made that as your food system, which has been directly responsible to eliminate living things, 18% of the land, the forest has been destroyed because you are eating burger, French fries. That's all. I'm not talking about the milk, paneer, tofu, all that actually has gone to up to 46%. This tofu, this soybean story is much more heart-wrenching. The penguin's eggs have been found more than 80 ppm of the material in the penguin. Where is penguin, do you know? South Pole, near South Pole. It's a bird that cannot fly. And we have managed to impart this so-called herbicide. And the bird that to be born has cancer. And here you are, in the name of vegans, you are feeding your babies soybean tofu. You see this disconnect? Because the system has managed to suppress the information, and you think, oh, you need protein, you need protein. All these experts have been bombarding you because they have made enough protein, they want to sell. That's all there is, the reason. There is no other reason. Soybean is made 1600 million tons every year. The herbicide companies sell their herbicide so that you all eat this tofu. Or soybean and genetically modified sweet corn is mixed, and they are feeding every year 92 billion pigs, 250 billion chicken, and God knows how many cows. And you are all slaughtering them and then having on your plate on a daily basis. So all this information is not flowing through the system. So you have stopped asking question, how come this came onto my plate? What is it, the supply chain behind it? Have you ever asked question when you take French fries? Isn't it your responsibility to ask these questions? I have not come to rice and wheat yet. 800 million tons of rice is produced on this planet every year. India alone produces 135 million tons in the last 25 years. The enormous cost of nature, not the price that you are paying, 50 rupees per kilo, 30 rupees per kilo, I'm least bothered about this economic statistics. I'm talking about the ecological price that we are paying. 8,000 to 10,000 liters of water, that 3% of water is what can be used on this planet. Out of that, every year per kilo, you are using 8 to 10,000 liters of water. And imagine 135 million tons of rice, 135 million tons of wheat. How much water that you are, and that water doesn't belong to you alone on this. It is required by other living things on this planet. Do you have any concern?
I have something in our place, like we don't have water.
Yeah.
We are drinking from the
Absolutely.
towns.
Now Punjab, where we can just touch with the hand, say 25 years ago, now it is 1,200 feet deep you have to bore. And the water left now, just recently, 4 years back, ISRO with all its high space crafts technology is declared very clearly that you are left with 12 years of water underground of Punjab. 12 years. And if you continue to grow the rice and wheat the way we are doing in the name of food security, there is no food at all after 15 years. And the same drama continues elsewhere too, including California and Florida, and the Everglades are disappeared just because you wanted to have your bagel and sugar syrup. No, we are only just importing all these so-called technologies in the name of science and development. I have absolutely no idea the damages that we are doing to the life forms on this planet, including yourself. That is only a scratch of the iceberg, inside actually deeply if you look at it, we have now 6% of the kids born physically handicapped, 6% of the kids mentally retarded, 6% of the kids hole in the heart, 6% of the kids basically called ADHD, autism in loosely terms. So, and 6% of kids in the last 10 years have type 1 diabetes. So now I told 6 times 6%. 36% of the dysfunctional kids that we are producing in the last 20 years. It's all over the planet.
So if we change the diet for the kids, can this be better?
Now you are coming to the point. So there has been no attempt on the human race to figure out why there is 6% to now the percentage of women menstruating below 10 years has increased to 68%. This much physiological derangements have happened and the human race has no time to sit back and look at. We are not even accepting them as problems. So we are in the race of economic stability, economic security, all these, I don't know what words, what do I want to call them?
Security.
Absolutely. So the real problems we are not even acknowledging. And of course, another peripheral problems like obesity. When we came the first time to Texas, Houston airport, welcome, here everything is big. The fellows are like 120 kilos to 140 kilos. And I have seen many Indians are also gone beyond 100 kilos. So that means, what are we doing? Are we living with, forget about science, do we have even common sense? Is the question. So your food should be such that it cannot disturb the natural cycles. And we have already disturbed the soil fertility, the rivers have disappeared, the biodiversity is gone, and we have managed to increase the temperature of the globe as a whole, global warming. And the basic reason for global warming, and all these experts even today are hiding from you, the reason why we have carbon dioxide ppm increased on this planet is because of food corporate industry, nothing else. 10.3 billion tons of carbon dioxide is released only through food industry and nothing else. And the remaining all carbon dioxide release 3 billion is due to other activities of human race. So out of 14, you have 11 billion responsibly caused by your food, be it rice, wheat, or rice, wheat, and dairy. So it is the food systems that we have created in the name of science and development is the root cause of your diseases. And that's the reason why I just had to hurry back despite so-called scientists. I was here in America. And here laws are made such that you cannot do what you want. Because the system, they say it is democratic and science should be pursued freely and all that, but there is no freedom at all, basically. So much so that when I went to India, and the Central Food Technological Research Institute of India has also no freedom to work on, because they asked me to work on soybean. I said I wanted to work on something else, that Indian context. And those failures made me to think that there is no organization on this planet which can work independently. So I declared myself as independent scientist, in quotes. Then we bought 8 acres of barren land and then started growing the real food. The real food, I mean the C4 grasses have been on this planet Earth millennia, so we don't even know when. And all these so-called theories of Western thought process of being human beings, hunter-gatherers, so as soon as they're born, they take a bow and then started killing animals. And then we started eating all this animal protein. No. The first thing that humans could gather is the grass and grass roots, grass grains. And what is available as soon as you walk out on this planet, anywhere, on any continent, is C4 grasses. And recently we have had these archaeological evidences dating back to 178,000 years, that means 178,000 years ago, the reminiscence of the dental diggings, human skull, has been found only with C4 millet grains and grass. Nothing else. So the early food for not 10 years, 100 years, or thousands of years has been this millet grasses. Why millet? Milli means in French language 1 by 1,000. So millimeter size grains. There have been 6,000 or more varieties of C4 grasses on this planet, which the present day scientific world does not even bother to acknowledge, and they have not even categorized. And there is been no single research institute for millets till today. There was one Jover Research Institute in India, in Hyderabad. After I went from 1997 to almost 2015, we worked feverishly on millets, and then we established a clinic through which we have been trying to heal these modern day diseases, complex ones like that, type 1 diabetes, which is declared incurable all over the planet. So you go to the doctor and they say, you take this insulin, sir, how long? BP, how long?
Lifelong.
Thyroid, how long?
Lifelong.
So, what is it that you are doing? You are doing nothing other than selling the tablets. Doesn't it imply that? Doesn't it imply that? So you are not ready to say yes. So you are managing your systems, not healing. If your science is right, you should have been reversing all these conditions. As simple as that.
Just managing the symptoms.
Yeah, you are managing the symptoms.
All the hospitals.
All the hospitals. And we call that science. But we are calling that only as science. Because we have had these kinds of healings, thousands of them. It's not science. Because all the so-called science. Do you have any evidence? That's what the first question people ask. I said, if only you publish it becomes evidence. The simple logical point is that the food sustainability, the definition should have been that anywhere and everywhere it should be growing. And that definition fits only millets, not rice and wheat. Rice and wheat is by design of the food corporates because they wanted to sell their fertilizers and pesticides in large quantities all over the world in the name of green revolution, pushed it onto the human race, mouth and tummy, literally. And when you eat this rice and wheat, because of their C3 nature, pyruvic acid to glucose photosynthetic pathways create clearly no regulated release of glucose into your bloodstream. Because there is no fiber associated with the carbohydrate of these two grains, the flooding of glucose into your bloodstream happens, creating the imbalance of glucose, and these terms are not taught by anyone. It is Dr. Khader using the terms for the first time in the human race history. So glucose imbalance is the reason for all of your diseases. That you have flooding of glucose into your bloodstream, that is homeostasis of the blood, that is 5 grams in your 5 liters of blood is disturbed. You are actually pumping in 50 grams, 100 grams. In fact, just an Indian meal over the day, if you calculate, it is up to 125 grams of glucose, which you do not have any means of taking care. Your liver, your endocrine system overdoes emergency actions, converts that into cholesterol, triglycerides, glycogen, fat, meat. So you have the obesity, you have the BP, you have the thyroid. So these diseases are actually manufactured because the way you are eating and the way you are choosing your eating materials. So, and all the experts are not mentioning, rather not even looking at that as your problem. So when you go to a doctor, they say BP, it is your blood is become thickened, so you take blood thinner. Am I right? So how long you take? Life. So why is the blood thick in the first place? Is a simple question that every expert should have asked. No, we don't want to ask that question. We have blood thinner, take it. So what if I keep your blood thin all the time? Who can do that? The fiber, if it is floating in your bloodstream, can keep your blood thin. The simple experiment, even a small boy of 5 years can do. Take a leaf, put it in water, boil it for 3 minutes, decant and drink. Your blood becomes thin. And there are many agents that can make very efficient blood thin. And that's what they are doing by giving you a tablet. Am I making sense?
Yes.
So we are trying to understand the reason why you are all sick, whether it is BP or diabetes or thyroid, all because of your glucose imbalance. So how can I set the balance? Is to make release of glucose into your bloodstream in a regulated way. And who can do that? The fiber associated with the grain in millets can do the job 100%, and we have shown in ample number of cases, not doing a research paper, 5 fellows, 10 fellows, out of 10 fellows, 8 fellows have these parameters. We have done on thousands and thousands of people. So much so that we created a PDF. Please do this in your kitchen, you will get rid of your diseases. So we have empowered each and every individual. You don't need to go to any place, because it should be available for each and every human being on this planet. Whether you are an American, you are in New Zealand, you are in Nigeria, whether you are in some other planet, if you are a human being, this will work. And that's what is called science. So what does it really point? That we have been eating wrong food? So if your food is right, you don't need any medicine. And if your food is wrong, no medicine works. So simple fiber content has been depleted in the last 100 years by all these experts. And then you are becoming sick, countless number of diseases, countless number of tablets, and it is a vicious cycle because it fits the economic model of the present policymakers. Am I making sense? How can you get out of this vicious cycle? Just by saying no to the modern food culture. So how do we replace it? Luckily, we have had great knowledge poured into our system. I'm talking about Bharat. Charaka said very clearly, your food is complete when you have vegetables and greens, roots and tubers, and grains. And what is this classification based on? It is the fiber. Vegetables and greens have nascent fiber. You understand the word nascent? N-A-S-C-E-N-T? No. Navajat. Butter is supposed to be Navanita. I mean, it's just then born. It's called nascent. Newly born. So in vegetables and greens you have just born fiber, and roots and tubers you have immature fiber. Once you are born, you are maturing, and it is not completely matured, it is immature. And then in grains you have matured fiber, which is aromatic. The electrons are running around in a pool of carbon aromatic structure. Hence, it can absorb all the negative force, electron motive force. So, the energy that is leaked when you burn glucose in your mitochondria, producing carbon dioxide and ATP, which is a biological battery of energy, which is trapped when you burn glucose in the cytochrome tubular falling down. It is called tumbling down of electron in the cytochrome system to make ATP. Bear with me, this is a lot of science.
This is very interesting.
But this is all that, it is simple. You have energy in a high level, say water in a higher, and then it comes down. So when it comes down, energy is coming, and that you trap. And that's what happens in your so-called turbine. This, how do you produce electricity? You take water from top, then drop it down. While it is falling, you trap it. The same thing happens in a very micro, nano, pico, whatever systems that you can imagine in a mitochondria. You are burning carbon dioxide, the energy is, then you have cytochrome systems stepping down, transformers, step down transformers we call. So you step down and the energy is leaking, that you trap. And that is ATP, a battery. And while doing that, there is some leakage of energy, which is called EMF, electron motive force. that is what is going to accumulate and become radical, free radicals. Then when the free radical energy amount is apt, it captures an oxygen or a chlorine or nitrogen and it becomes a radical. And that fellow starts dancing around your organs, small organelles, and then starts making dysfunction, and then you have the disease. This is as simple as that. So even if we use the purest of the pure form of food, you are going to generate energy plus EMF, which transmutates into a diseased system. So now, where is the God keeping the proof? What did He do? He made you eat millets, and the fiber has this wide range of PMF which can mop up this EMF. That means that the root cause of the disease God has made so that the radicals are not formed and the toxic morbid waste which can then dysfunction an organ is to be eliminated. How do I do that? If I have the matured fiber, immatured fiber and nascent fiber which can attack this EMF as and when it is produced near your mitochondria. You should not have given this. We are at the crux of the all their attention is sorry. So we'll wait. Please have it. And the decoction that they are serving is actually, what is it?
Ambali.
Ambali. Oh, Ambali is much more.
I didn't. I thought it's coffee.
Now I was just coming to this crux. How do we solve this problem? And these are the decoctions and ambalis that will do the job. Do you have your ambali?
Sir, can you repeat the last?
Yeah, I will do. But I'm sad to see that you are served in a poisonous cup.
Super poisonous is not plastic, but you're right. Close to poison. You have changed.
So I request the temple authorities to see that you have steel tumblers whenever there are functions.
Matka.
Madiki is the best. These cups have dioxins. The inner coating is basically chlorinated aromatics that are doing this hydrophobic nature. So sir, I refuse to drink. You all should refuse to drink. That's the only way you can change.
We are too ignorant.
No. I know all people are not ignorant that you are choosing being convenient.
Yes.
I'm sure all are aware of this. It is just that you are ignoring.
It's also that all these ladies have taken so much effort to make it.
No, that's a different dimension you are adding. But no, they could have still taken little more effort to give you in a steel cup.
Maybe we could all have brought our own steels.
You could all bring, all temple can own some 200 tumblers. It's not a big issue.
So while we are waiting, my cousin in India, she read your protocol. She had rheumatoid arthritis.
Rheumatoid.
Yes, and she was on steroids every single day. It's 3 years now. So in the first year, she started reducing her medicines. At the end of the third year, she has no RA in her system. Absolutely nothing. It's
Yeah, you
gone.
can eliminate. Telugu, Kannadadalli now, we do not cure people. We will throw away the disease from your body.
So it's a disease health management versus disease management.
Here we are creating health. We are creating health. We are not. People think I have cured people. No, I am not curing people. I am creating health in your body. The word disease doesn't have any meaning in our system. So we are in a different dimension. When you start eating millets, you are not curing your diseases. You are healing your systems. You are creating health in your body. Actually, that's what I want to communicate to you people. That curing diseases is an irrelevant topic. Is an irrelevant topic because we are addressing the root cause of the disease. And we know how we eliminate disease even before it starts in our system. And here we have the beautiful, please listen, you can talk later. Including my wife. You can eliminate disease at the root cause level. It's okay if kids talk. I don't want elders to talk. You can eliminate. The simple reason is that the EMF, electron motive force, it is not the electron. Electron comes after 3-4 steps. So we are not even bothered about free radicals that can damage your organelles. Even the formation of free radicals, this accumulated EMF catching up with an oxygen or with a nitrogen or with a chlorine or with a sulfur, that can start the dance of damage. We are talking even before that happens, we can stop, mop up this leaked energy if you have the PMF of wide range that starts from the nascent fiber of greens and vegetables, which loosely present today so-called experts are saying phytochemicals. And then another important aspect of roots and tubers, which are actually almost eliminated from our food systems all through the world, not just Western domain. In fact, it is the balanced stuff. Oh, so kind of. Roots and tubers. Can some young boys and girls give me example of roots and tubers?
Sweet potato. Yams.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Potato.
Yeah.
Completely
Yeah.
mutilated tuber. Of course, yes, it is a tuber.
Carrots, yam.
Go ahead. Elephant yam, cassava in African continent, carrot, beetroot, radish, turnip. All these are roots and tubers which are actually having the immature fiber. And then grains, C4 grains, not C3 grains like rice and wheat because they have absolutely no fiber. Whatever little fiber is on the top layer is absolutely removed or bleached. In case of wheat it is bleached, in case of rice it is polished. So, if an expert of food should have been concentrating or focusing on this aspect of cleaning the body, cleaning the mitochondria. So when you have these three wide range of PMF associated with the movement of electrons, PMF, most of the people think it is proton motive force. Actually no, it is positive moton force. That means you are spinning the electron, that is electron motive force. So if I actually have to negate it, so that it becomes dumb and then absorbed. So it is through the electrons you do, or you can have a cation, positive nature, absorbing. But then if a positive ion is exposed in your physiological systems, it does more damage than. So that's why you have sodium, potassium channels, zinc fingers, that is chelating agents all surrounding it. That's why if you eat salt directly, you have a problem. If you eat through pickle, you have no problem. The pickling process is chelating the salt, Na+. So it's positive that cationic nature doesn't damage your body. your organs. So pickle is safe, salt directly is not safe. When by chance your wife or whoever cooks in the house has added salt little more, then what would you say? Don't worry, we'll go to hotel and eat. That was the dialogue 5 years ago. Now don't worry, we'll order Zomato Swiggy. We are at that stage. But imagine your wife by mistake has added sugar once more to gulab jamun. Hey Mavati, so nice, bring me 2 more. Am I right? That means sugar has no control. So people saying that you have BP because eating more salt. No, you cannot eat more salt, and BP is not due to salt. It is due to the sugar that you are eating without control and dumping through rice, wheat and sugar, and that excess glucose is actually being manufactured into cholesterol, triglycerides, glycogen, and that is flowing, making your blood thick, and that's how you have BP. So if you are a BP patient, what is the first thing that you want to stop? Rice and wheat and sugar. Did any doctor tell you, no, don't eat salt? And this is the problem.
We have some doctors too here.
It's okay. I'm not making fun of doctors. I'm making fun of the system itself. It is as simple as that. And that is the reason why they ask you to take BP tablets on a daily basis, because they are only managing it. They are not eliminating the problem. So we can eliminate it as simple as this. If I make your blood thin, to make the blood thin, you only have to make the fiber float in your blood on a regular basis. We have this decoction, we have not eating rice and wheat and sugar. As simple as that. Okay, if you are asking me not to eat this, then what do I eat? Eat millets. I can't eat millets because it has a lot of fiber. They are called coarse grains. This is the exact word used by these green revolution experts. Hey, they are coarse grains. They are primitive grains. They are bird feed. Even in Colorado, right now, they are producing tons and tons of brown top millet. And they write, FDA writes, not for human consumption, bird feed. This is the exact words. So all over the world, so-called scientists look at it and say, this is all, millets are bird feed. So all at a sudden, all over the world, people were eating millets. I'm talking about 150 years ago, the history. They said, this is not our food, we all have to eat rice and wheat. And now all over the world, people think food means rice and wheat. And all the experts of doctors do not question this at all to start. And they are managing symptom by symptom. You see the disconnect? And where did they end up? Where is me? The Steve Jobs had pancreatic cancer and they could manage it. 800 doctors snooping on him every day could not manage to give him good sleep because he was on morphine patches, ended his life. So the system does not have any healing capacity. And if you all think you have more money than Steve Jobs, you don't have. Because the system has no basic principle to heal you. Am I making sense?
Yes.
You may not agree with me. But this is the only way you can heal your body. Unless you eliminate the oxidative stress at the level of mitochondria. I'm not talking about, actually till now I didn't talk about your fertilizers and your this chemical, that chemical being cancerous, that chemical being carcinogenic, all that I'm not talking. I'm talking about the real root cause of disease. Purest of pure food you eat, still you will become sick because there is always that associated negative thing associated. Toxic morbid waste is generated, the physiological functioning makes this happen. And internal healing happens only when you have these antioxidants or anti-inflammatory agents generated there and then, and exact amounts. You cannot have higher amount. Just because anti-inflammation is good for you, it can create trouble later. So the balance, and that's where comes Krishna. That fellow, I don't know how Deion did that. In the middle of the war, he said, Yukta Āhārasya. But he did so. If you read Bhagavad Gita, it's very clear. If your food is right, if your thoughts are right, if your sleep is good, apt, then with yoga, you can eliminate suffering. This is the statement he makes in one of the schools. So, what it means is that prerequisite for good yoga to eliminate suffering is right food. Yukta Āhāras, that is apt food. Yukta means apt. Now what do we have? Visha Yukta Āhāra we have. So you have to eliminate that visha. I'm not talking about contamination by fertilizers, pesticides and all that. I'm talking that visha generated in any food. Even if you go to Amazon forest and then pluck a wonderful fruit and then eat, you are going to generate this disease content in your mitochondria, and that's what is actually only one stress human beings faces: oxidative stress on a regular basis, every day in and day out. And unless you eliminate that, you are not going to be healthy. Actually, I am absolutely not touching the toxic chemicals that you are ingesting. I am least bothered about it. I am talking about the old 200 years ago food and how we have generated diseases at that time. If your science is right, I should be explaining even that disease. Am I making sense? And that's what I am trying to communicate to you. That the real disease has been there all through time immemorial. And the physiology of the human body is that your organs die and replenish. So your red blood cells die in 3 months. Your skin dies in 3 days. That means, just an example, if you are in an accident, your skin is gone, within 3 days you get it ready. And if your blood cells have gone, in 3 months you can recuperate. I mean, the regeneration. That means you are actually dying every minute, and every minute you are born. So the neurons, the nerve cells take 7 years to replenish themselves. The nephrons, the kidney cells, the things that filter all toxic things and put your uric acid, everything out in your urine. Am I making sense? So that means you are not dying, born and die. They are two different events, but every minute you are born and you are dying. So that's why another spiritual commitment is that you do not die in that particular last moment. That's it. You are dying every minute and you are born every minute. And it has to be a balance. So if imagine your 100 cells have died and you create 100 cells. Now instead of creating 100 cells, I go on creating the same cell 1,000 times. And that's called cancer. So the balance of life is to, in between death and life, it has to be also balanced. Now imagine I have an accident, then I go on creating, and then you call that as skin cancer. So in between, if it is not cancer, but it still go on spreading, there are people who have this kind of long fibers pulling. So the diseased conditions, depending upon the quantity and quality, we keep on naming them differently. So one of such is cancer. Because the cancer can be initiated through agents, and that's where the contamination comes into picture. And that's what we were talking in the early phase of that is soybean, the herbicide that is being carcinogenic. Now we have added in the name of preservatives and go downs and fertilizers, all these are basically to some extent or the other cancerous condition, and that is the reason why we are seeing 7% of kids born with cancerous conditions, because we are injecting so much through our food. The mothers in the placenta, in the milk, we are able to transfer to the babies. Am I making sense?
Yes.
So how do we eliminate this? And now what if I have a material that floats in our blood and removes these agents? And these agents are nothing but oxidative stress creating, because they are polar chemicals basically, or aromatic things. So if I have something, the PMF that can eliminate, that can pull it out, including DNA toxicity, can be eliminated by so-called food materials that have enough PMF to pull it out. And that enough PMF is in fact found in the millet fibers, called lignons, which are actually pool of aromatic electrons. I'm sitting on this wood. Wood is called lignin. It's absolutely impregnable aromatic pool of electrons where nothing can enter. That means no enzyme till today has been efficiently degrading this wood, and that's how you have wood living for 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, even in the forest with all the right conditions, the fungal strains cannot actually start degrading. Maybe I worked on that systems for 3 to 4 years while I was in, where was this? Delaware, not Delaware. Oregon. Well, yeah, Oregon. We were in Beaver. Amazing. So the wood, the ultimate impregnable pool of electrons, takes hundreds of years, so much so that it actually transcends into the lower layers of earth, and then the anaerobic systems work on, and then you actually not able to do anything. It becomes diesel and petrol bases called coal, and further it takes hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, in fact thousands of years. We can't even carbon date that fuel down. We don't have enough technology yet. That means these precursors of it called lignon, basically a polyphenolic structure, pool of aromatic electrons with a handle of aliphatic nature, which can create these wonderful healing systems. And these wonderful grains have different set of lignons. The little millet has lignon structure that can clean up your reproductive system. Kodo millet has in its fiber that can clean up your bone marrow and blood. Foxtail millet, the fiber system can clean up your lungs and neurons. And barnyard and little millet fiber can also clean up your kidney and liver systems. So thus, God has actually created a cleaning complement in the food itself. And the roots and the green leaves. In fact, Ranapala, Bryophyllum pinnatum.
I have it if anybody wants.
Yeah.
Reach out.
In fact, last time when I came, I requested the authorities to have all these healing leaves in the temple. And that's what was actually done in our olden temple systems. The people tree, the Agale marmaladus, that is Bilpatra. In fact, it has the capacity to clean up your heart and around. The EMF, So the toxic morbid waste that you accumulate, I'm not talking about cholesterol and all that glucose in there. I'm talking about the energy systems where you can create including the pumping, the electric signals that the heart needs. So we have identified, in fact it is the Cucurbidaceae family, like your pumpkins, your cucumbers. These have those wonderful anti-inflammatory chemicals. Cucurbitaceae called actually, it is in the whole Cucurbidaceae family. There is, you have a ash god, a sweet pumpkin, all these can actually help to remove these toxic damages that you are causing around that particular organ. That means that particular EMF is negated by this particular PMF. Am I making sense? And of course, I am talking very serious science, trying to address common man. I hope I am able to come across to you. So it is the food that keeps you healthy, not the medicines. So as a human race, we have actually cheated ourselves by embracing the economic model and forgetting the ecological model. So the simple solution now is, hey guys, wake up, shift from this economic model to ecological. What does that imply? It means you need to be surrounded by these natural cleaning systems that are wonderful plants around. So the Bryophyllum pinnatum called Ranapala can clean up even a stone in your kidney. Just by taking the decoction for 3 weeks, you can simply throw out the stone in your kidney. For one it may be 3 weeks, for another it may be 3 months. Because you guys are incorrigible. Because you want to, I tell all this, sir, after taking the decoction, can I have my cup of coffee? My cappuccino? Because you are addicted. So, the mandatory thing is you stop this irritant fast. The disease-causing agents that you are ingesting on a daily basis is what has gotten you to this state. So unless it's like you want to press your accelerator and brake at the same time. Because when my friends, including me, when we came, I did my PhD in Institute of Science. Then every 2-3 hours, all these guys were very brainy fellows, want a cup of coffee. They will just ting, walk to the canteen, coffee. They give this much coffee. We used to drink and come back. And once they come to America, it's not coffee cup, it's coffee mug. And not once, just go fill it up in the coffee machine and keep it. You see, they make arrangements so that you fall into this trap and addiction. If it stops, it doesn't stop there. These guys, when they visit back home, they take the coffee mug and present to their parents, and they start also drinking. Am I making sense? Is this not what happening? Let's stop this nonsense. In the name of science, in the name of development, we have been doing this. It's that most nonsensical thing that we are doing. So you have here greens and vegetables, wonderful part, and it cannot be sustainable food. There are some nuts can create something. So you all do not go nutty, because if you eat too much nuts, you end up in trouble. The same way, we eat only vegetables and fruits. But that's immature, nascent fiber that doesn't have full range. and it is unsustainable. Everyone cannot have enough fruits and vegetables and greens because these are all watery substances. That means if you want to have nutrition from this group of food alone, you need to create for each person minimum of 8 to 12 kilos. Because when you dry a kilo of greens, you will get 10 grams of. So even if you try carrot, 990 grams is water. So this cannot be your food system. It is a complement and supplement, which is very important part. We do need them. Same way, roots and tubers. Carrot has carotenoids, which is actually wonderful for your eye organ systems. So not just carrot, anything that carries carotenoids. So you have what is called pearl millet, which is actually has more carotenoids than your carrots. So if you have, in fact, that's a wonderful thing that our ancestors have done already. That when your baby grows up, give them pearl millet milk. When your baby grows up, give ragi milk, which takes care of your bones and vitamin D in the presence of the strong bones. So we have 5 major millets: ragi, finger millet, pearl millet, great millet, proso millet. These are specifically designed for God, for younger generation. So major millets are for minors and minor millets are for majors. So minor millets are kodo millet, foxtail millet, little millet, brown top millet and barnyard millet, whose fiber content is 8% in foxtail millet. I am actually coming to an end. Okay. We have been talking incessantly for the last 1.5 hours. I hope I have communicated to you the essence and science of our food, which is missing on the planet itself. No one has done this till today. Why? If the knowledge is imparted, then you will all be disease free, which is not right for us. But I'm actually not interested in making you disease free. I'm only interested in saving our all other living things which cannot speak. And you are not even acknowledging that we have killed most of them. And you continue to eat the way you are eating. So if I can impart the knowledge to you now, you can stop that younger generation, this damage. I know you will not stop because you are addicted, you will continue to do. But then the knowledge, I'm sorry. And this is what you should neglect from Dr. Khader. This is the way I am, so don't take that seriously. This is not, I have experience because we have healed people taking insulin injection, completely removed them. 5 years, 10 years they were taking insulin and we made them HbA1c 5, 6, they are good to go, they are good. After 6 months that fellow comes back with HbA1c again 9. Why? Because he started eating again. And so much so there was one fellow who, because we have 30 years of experience, one fellow comes back every 6 months and says, casually comments, anyway I have Dr. Khader to cure me, don't worry. So he goes back and drinks again 3 months and then comes back. And this is the kind of, for me it is disgusting. That's how I have lost hope on the elder generations. So I'll tell you one very serious thing, that after IPL, the so-called IPL match, Bangalore won, the news, they won at 11:45 in the night, and by 6 a.m. Bangalore has sold 40 crores profit worth liquor. Now we have a system where they are feeding young people, and then next day the mother and father come, oh, our boys are not listening to us, they are drinking. Oh, who is making profit? The young boys do not own these liquor companies or liquor shops. It is the aged fellows 50 and above who own all this and who are making this happen. Am I right? This is the underbelly of the system. Governments are selling liquor and we are electing such governments. So, who is, that's why I said I have lost hope on this generation. And who are we misleading? Our own kids. And then who are you complaining against? Your own kids. And who is responsible for all this nonsense? You. It's easy to throw the finger on other side. Everyone. I've seen many parents whose boys have drug addiction and this and that. So these fellows are not this. This younger generation is very bad. I said, younger generation doesn't know who have made this happen. So we are not willing to take the responsibility. We are not even acknowledging we are the reason. Sorry to put it this way, but it is the fact. So let's all in the buckle up, buckle up, guys. Means let's do something about it. So everywhere, whether it is a religious place or a scientific place or a social gathering, we need to be talking about these things. Make these things happen. In fact, I was very elated. I visited Puri Jagannath Temple in England and then gave just like this, and the administrative group of people, I think there were 18 of them, immediately took a decision and then made a policy decision that coming in the temple we will serve millets as prasadam. And they made 56 items. And they said this will be so throughout coming generation. And they are finding a lot of good results. And so, in fact, they have told me personally that they are going to grow all these wonderful decoctions, the plants and saplings in their temple. And it is temples that were actually knowledge bearers in the early generations. But now they have become economic models. Sorry to say that. Yeah? So let's shift our. Actually, these are all simple things. It's only here. This is the mindset. If you shift that, then it will be transcending and transmutating your physical world. And that's why I feel it's so important that we talk about these things passionately. Can we do that? You are not saying yes.
Yes. Yes.
Please say yes.
Yes.
At least to please me.
Yes.
Whether you do it or not, later. But I am being very, very crooked. Once you say yes, there will be some part of you thinking about it. And that's what I am trying to get. And that is the least I can do. Please say yes loudly 2 to 3 times.
Yes.
So I can yes. Say yes. Yes. So my
Mind over matter.
yeah, what I am thinking is that at least 3 or 4 of you will fall into this trap. I hope it is more. So next time I want to visit Woodlands and receive prasadam, millet, and Govinda. Govinda. They say Govinda, Govinda. Say it loudly. Srinivasa Kalyanam, the book has in its origin when Srinivasa descended, got hurt by someone who thought he is stealing the Kamadhenu's milk. He threw a axe, it hit him, and then he fell unconscious. Then Vakula Mahadevi came and then actually cleaned his wound by Gaddi Chamanti. That's a simple herb called Tridex procumbens in that 7 hills. She just went, took, and then cleaned the thing, and then gave him little millet poison. Within 3 hours, he got healing began. So actually, for a long time, the Srinivasa temple, the Venkateshwara temple in Tirupati, was serving sama, Niger seed oil, and coconut milk and toddy palm jaggery as the naivedya. And Raju in his house gives that as prasadam daily basis. So we can, to start with, make that prasadam naivedyam, and it is not my recipe, it is a recipe given. And Varaha Swami, when he got the earth, Mother Earth, after fighting with the Asura, he was Udvega. Then the Bhaktas asked him, what do we want as to bring your anger down? And he says, give me Priyangu Payasam, that is foxtail, because it is the nerve centers that are excited. To calm it down, the microbes that are gut microbes, which have this gut-brain axis, which can cool down the nerve centers if your gut microbiome is well. So night, foxtail millet, that fermented payasam it is called. Actually, that is ambali, which can create, replenish the gut microbes, which can actually bring down your udvega, kopa, irritation, all these negative things. Of course, he needed that udvega to kill the asura, but he continued to be in that state, which is very terrifying for the bhaktas. And that's what is prasadam for Varaha Swami. It is Varahi. Also, they are used to the Priyangu. Priyangu is foxtail. So this kind of ullekhanas are available in our Shastras, and so it's not that they are not aware of it. And this is why am I mentioning this is that they are completely aware of the situations and the nature of the healing that these wonderful grains, ancestral grains, have the capacity to do so. So based on this knowledge, we have experimented upon the particular conditions of the patients that we have been receiving in the last 30 years, and we have found wonderful results. So much so that we have had mentally retarded kids kept on this particular protocol, becoming well and learning things where they didn't even have eye contact. So we have translated this knowledge into small PDF, which Sheshachala will give you. The QR code you can scan and download all the systems. And you have luckily Raju and Gupta, who can vouch and then actually help you deal with whatever little questions you have, how to make this, how to cook this, how to serve this. But before I end my so-called lecture, listen to this carefully. The glucose imbalance, the microbial imbalance, and the hormonal imbalance we have caused because of the way we are eating can be rectified. To start with, the gut microbes, if you replenish properly, other things can fall in place. So making ambali and drinking on a daily basis the next 6 weeks will prime your body. So learn how to make ambali I am going to talk to you now the next 3-4 minutes. Learn it carefully. Start your millet journey with this. Then the steps will open by themselves. Okay? So how do you make ambali that will set your gut microbiome to its balance? Is simple. Take any minor millet. That is, what are the minor millets? Little, pearl is major. Kodo, brown. So one of the 5 millets, take 5 grams. The quantity is very important. 5 grams, which translates to a teaspoon. Then soak it in ½ liter of water. Listen carefully. I'm sorry, I keep bringing back your attention, because if you make this right, your life will be set. 5 grams, ½ liter of water, soak for 8 to 10 hours. Then cook for 10 minutes on a low flame. 10 minutes, all that it takes. Then cool it, transfer it into a mud pot. If you can do the cooking also in mud pot, it is much better actually. Because while you cook in the mud pot, you do not create pressure, because there are micropores. And because there are micropores, you have to do the fermentation only in a mud pot, not anywhere else. No steel, no all this, unless you have a fermenter where you have this pH, that oxygen going in, all that. That you are not having laboratories in your house. So the best laboratory vessel is mud pot for common man. We have done this experiment diligently. So take this ½ liter boiled porridge, thin porridge. Why thin? ½ liter, because the oxygen has to come into each and every grain. That's where you invite the microbes and you start making the diversified aerobic microbes come into your porridge. So the fermented porridge is called ambali in South Indian language. In North Indian language it is called khameer or basi, because the old and traditional way of making the fermented porridge was they used to, after boiling, put it in this bamboo bottles and tie a cotton cloth and keep under the ground. After 8 to 10 hours, you have equipped your grains with this wonderful diversified aerobic bacteria. And don't add curds to it and drink. When you add curds, you are going to contaminate it with lactobacillus, single anaerobic bacteria, which doesn't have the capacity to perform various kinds of physiological activities required for your live cells. Am I making sense? So you want to eat curds with your rice when you are eating your meal, but don't contaminate this wonderful elixir of life to bring back gut microbes into the celiac region. The reason, another reason to keep this thin is when you drink this, the stomach gets fooled thinking it is a watery substance and open its stomach to the celiac region. Otherwise, it gets closed if you eat solid food or semi-solid food. Then what happens? Acid rushes in and kills all the microbes. So your ambali is not semi-solid. So if you have semi-solid thing, you are not actually fermenting it properly because oxygen is not entering. So you need to keep it thin, and the quantity of water and the grain is 5 grams to ½ liter. And then when you boil for 5-10 minutes, at least 100 ml evaporates, still you keep it thin, and that is the reason why this ratio of water and grain, okay? And then fermentation, you drink, you don't eat ambali. How do I drink? It is bland, no taste, it is just 100 to 200 ml, you just gulp it, it will go in. That is the right solution. And you still are not willing to add some salt if you want, and if you are a sweet lover, add toddy palm jaggery if you want. Okay? But then I don't like this toddy palm jaggery because it still has few percentage of glucose. Then glucose itself is actually anti-agent for good microbes to develop, because the higher sucrose and glucose content, you invite pathological bacteria instead of symbiotic bacteria. So the reasons why you should and should not do, I am explaining you science. So you can take salt a little bit because it doesn't actually invite pathological bacteria, but it can kill some of the symbiotic bacteria. So salt is a little better than sugar. Okay? So you can do whatever you want, because we have done this experiment. People have taken with toddy palm jaggery, people have taken with salt, and people who do not add, they are the best. Because the completeness of the gut microbiome, and you can establish faster and better. So this is the science of Ambali. So you can choose, but all the three will work, because even that complicated person had actually with salt and with sugar. I have talked to her. Despite the problem being serious, it still has worked. But being scientific, you should be able to drink 100 or 200 ml just like that, and it will go in. Once it goes in and settles down in the celiac region, your gut becomes. Do you have the guts? Means this is the answer. I have the guts. That means your gut is strong, and you can do, and your mind becomes stable, calm, peaceful. Sarve jana sukhino.
Give a big round of applause. We have a couple of we got a team from Ananda, again stand of the family, and they have prepared a special cake with millet and vegan. We want to cut it. And our president is here, HTW president. He wants to honor, and he's listening to this lecture, right? So important, so blessed. You know, the way a doctor went today is more deeper. I've been listening to him more. He looks at people and he wants to give the information, some people, some more deeper. He went into more depth of science today. I'm really happy that, you know, free radicals touching upon. And by the way, one more thing I want to make, prebiotic, probiotic, whatever this nonsense they're selling, it's all actually coming through what you follow doctor's prescription. The most another important thing is postbiotic. Your gut is your second brain, and vagus nerve is connected. Your cravings, if you have craving, if you have to reset it, only through using this technique, postbiotic. That's actually
The de-addiction program, we have this. In fact, if the temple wants to take up de-addiction program, I can give you a protocol which you can de-addict kids or everything, sugar, alcohol, drugs, all are de-addiction. Even caffeine. Caffeine de-addiction can work wonders with this Ambali and particular decoctions. We have been able to successfully de-addict.
Yeah. And another important thing is dharma, the kama, moksha, right? What we, you know, dharma is what is teaching. Artha is important. Nothing wrong with business. Do it in a dharmic. Knowingly, unknowingly, all the medical and everything we are doing in a dharmic way. Economic impact, ecological impact, health impact. Anyway, I don't want to take too much time. Bharat, please come. You know, Bharat is here.
Dharma kamartha mokshanam idam shariram. So it is through the body only you can perform these things. So keep your body, it is a temple of God. So it's our responsibility to keep the temple clean. How can we do that? Eat millets.
We have seen enough of him alone.
Dr. Valli, thank you for visiting HTW. The lecture is very informative. We are hoping that all the attendees will practice good health. And, thank you all for coming in, and hope you enjoyed the lecture.
Yes.
Take a benefit of that.
And this time, Bharat, we are going to do an action committee. Whoever want to be part of action committee, Raj, myself, Sudhi, come down. We got to make it in action.
Put me also in the committee
Yes, sir.
because I'm there, but still, you have all
Yes.
these tools we can.
Yes, absolutely. And now we have to act upon it very clearly. Not only be practicing like 10 years, 5 years. I don't have to see a doctor, my family and me. I'm telling you, like Raj, he looks like a young guy here. He's been practicing for more than. So,
He's young guy.
Yeah. Oh, he's young guy, of course.
Oh, blessed. Govinda.
Govinda.
And what to please cut our cake, vegan, they prepared a millet-based cake.
Yeah.
Family,
This-
come on here. Ananda family.
Yeah, I'll put it there in the front.
Wherever.
Get the table, yeah. Actually, something like vegan cake.
Yeah.
Only thing there's sugar. Yeah.
The effort is important.
Yeah. That's definitely much better. It looks very tempting, but only thing I don't eat sugar, sir.
Kitchen makes all the food for us. They making it is also important. That means they recognize what you're saying.
My
This is great.
wife is baker for Ananda
Yeah,
Kitchen,
awesome.
and she made this cake out of jaggery and foxtail.
Perfect. This is the way future. Because kids like cakes.
Yes.
We got to. Thank you. Take a picture.
Before giving the cake, give them little humbly. Where's my wife? Is that it?
No, it's all one side.
Come here, boy.
All the kids, please come in front. Kids, go there. Kids first. Kids first, please. Come. Please. Kids, go there for the cake. You also kids, so you go there. You can also join there.
Just,
We'll take care of it.
just see
Come on.
Kids, come to the front. You got your share of cake?
You got it?
This one? There is another savory.
One more lady is coming from the back. Good job.
Thank you all.
Enjoy the delicious food made by Millets by so many volunteers. You can really experience it. Thank you, everyone.
I think we can stop this recording.
And take the picture, of the barcode.